Apollo 11, the hidden transmission. They never told us the full story, not in the news, not in the history books, because if they did, no one would ever sleep again. July 20th, 1969, the moment humanity had been waiting for. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin descend onto the lunar surface. The world watches, the transmissions are clear, the excitement is real, but there's something else, something they cut. For decades, we believed the Apollo 11 mission was just about landing on the moon, a historic achievement, a proud moment for mankind, but buried in the raw footage, in the faint, distorted radio signals, there's something NASA didn't intend for us to hear, something that wasn't supposed to be recorded. It starts subtle, a few missing frames, strange shadows on the lunar surface, a camera glitch, they said, but a glitch doesn't move, a glitch doesn't watch. Minutes into the first EVA, as Armstrong makes his way across the surface, his camera captures something strange. Not a rock, not a crater. Something standing. It's distant, but it's there. A figure. No one at Mission Control acknowledges it. Armstrong doesn't mention it, but his breathing changes. And then, just for a second, the transmission cuts out. When it returns, Armstrong's voice is calm. Too calm, like he's forcing himself to sound normal. Then comes the second EVA. Aldrin moves toward the lunar module, adjusting the camera. The footage is clearer this time, but something feels off. The air between transmissions is too silent. The delay between Houston and the moon seems longer. And then, Armstrong speaks, not to Aldrin, not to Mission Control, to someone else. They're watching us. Then a burst of static. Houston asks him to repeat. He doesn't, and that's when it happens. A shadow moves behind him, on the moon, in an environment with no atmosphere, no wind, no movement. Something moves. Back on Earth, engineers in Houston scramble to adjust the signal. The feed warps, distorts, and for a split second, just before it stabilizes, a shape, not human, not a shadow, a silhouette, tall, still, unnatural, watching. Armstrong sees it. His head turns sharply. He takes a step back. His mic picks up his breathing, shaky, uneven. But before he can speak, static. Not just any static, a rhythmic pulse, a pattern, not random interference, a signal. And then, a voice. Not Armstrong's, not Aldrin's. Something else. The words are distorted, buried beneath the crackle of transmission. But when the audio is enhanced, one sentence becomes clear. You should not be here. Aldrin freezes. Armstrong doesn't move. Mission Control is silent. And then, NASA cuts the feed. The public never saw what happened next. Official reports claim it was a technical issue, a problem with the relay station. But an internal transcript, one that was never meant to be released, tells a different story. For exactly 2 minutes and 40 seconds, Apollo 11 lost all contact with Earth. In those 2 minutes, Armstrong and Aldrin heard something walking outside the module. They saw shapes moving in the distance. And then, just before the feed returned, a whisper, faint, indecipherable. But when the mission logs were reviewed weeks later, a single phrase was found buried in the transmission. Not from the astronauts. Not from Houston. Do not return. We never did. Apollo 12, 14, 15, 16, and 17 all landed. But something changed. The missions became shorter. The astronauts stopped exploring. By 1972, NASA abandoned the moon. They never gave a real reason. But maybe, just maybe, it was because they were warned.